Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Hi, hello?
Hi, Andy.
How are you, Dad? What?
Andy, wake up. It's time for school.
Daddy, don't tell me I'm stupid. Don't say get your stupid ass to school. He was not that kind of a fella.
No, he wasn't.
You know what? The days of me blaming him for my conditions are over. It's time for me to start on my mother and you.
All right, Mr. Rickles.
Did you like that?
I did. It decided Rickles at the end.
How are you today? I have already had a procedure today.
Old Jew Medical Corner.
I had a procedure that I've been hiding from you.
Yeah.
Not really hiding it from you.
No, hiding it from our listeners.
Yeah, here's the thing. There are people who suffer in silence, and you never hear that they had a disease and all that kind of thing.
I'll help you. I'll help you. Andy is transitioning, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I can't even believe it. To a human being.
Yes.
What was I talking to? Oh, this is bad already.
Your procedure.
The procedure. So, I had a cat. I have a thing with a. Okay, here's the jokes about it. All right.
All right. Good.
Here are the jokes.
Sure.
Maybe I've told them all already. I discovered there's which way does a joke work? Is good news? There's bad news and good news. I'll try it that way. I have bad news and good news.
All right.
The bad news is I have blood in my urine.
What's
the good news? It's not mine.
There you go.
Or, no. It's worse. Oh, and my question is it worse if it's not yours?
No, I think it's a good news, bad news joke. Bad news, good news joke. Yeah.
Okay. And so we think I'm going to live. We think it's my, and I'm not afraid to say that I have an enlarged prostate. I should be afraid to say it because everybody knows everything about me, but I don't want to make this into where you come up with a character for it.
I say it's time to come out in the open.
Oh, why did you lay this trap for me? We had a pre-interview and everything.
It wasn't a trap. It's an intervention.
Why is it an intervention? I have a problem and I went to the doctor.
We're all getting together to say, good job, Andy. Good job.
Okay, thank you. I did have a very painful thing last week, and it was really painful. And any listeners out there, who am I? I had a cystoscopy and this actually happened. They stick a camera down your penis.
I think it's up your penis, technically.
And I am not lying to you. The guy goes, I heard, is it not that painful? He goes, I use a really small camera, he says to me. Shouldn't that be the bare minimum?
Yeah.
How could you say,
he has a golf bag of cameras.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the one iron here.
Yeah, why would you go with the smaller camera? Maybe this one doesn't require a tripod. I mean, it was really...
I'm trying to do a split focus thing here.
I use it for my own collection. I use a 3D camera. It's just what I like.
Yeah. So did you? So it hurt.
Have you had that done?
I've never had the camera. I've been catheterized before.
Right,
but I've never been
catheterized.
I don't think I've ever been awake for the catheterization. I've been awake for the decatheterization a few times.
Yes, when I had my appendix out, and I assume you had similar things, is that the worst time is when you have to pee after the catheter is removed, and they warn you that if you don't pee, they're going to put the catheter back in.
Right.
That was previous to this, the most unpleasant thing. This is unpleasant because it hurt a lot. It really did hurt a lot.
Did it hurt the entire time or just just upon entry?
Just upon entering?
Yeah.
And how graphic do you want me to get? I mean, I guess I don't care.
I want you to get very graphic.
Okay, so the reason why you're having a delightful time.
This is my world.
This is your wheelhouse.
Yes.
Please correct any of my mistakes. The reason why it hurt is because my prostate is very likely enlarged.
Oh, okay, so getting past the prostate.
Getting past that point.
Right.
And then I'm like, so here's what happened. I go, "Wah!" And then they go past and I go, oh, it's much better now. I go, then the one guy goes, don't you want to see? So I was able to turn my head.
Yeah.
He was right. I did want to see.
I totally want to see. Yes.
I did, but like right after the pain. And then they started looping it around. It looks very odd in there. It looks like a lot of veins.
And he went, and this is your uvula.
I said, will I be able to play? Will I be able to find my G-spot again? I couldn't find it before. It's not the same joke as play the violin.
I would have gone just committed to violin, frankly.
So I would say that the guy who was helping, I'm happy because he was the only guy to tell me the truth. He goes, I'm going to tell you the truth. At that one point, it's going to hurt. I think fair warning. He feels fair warning.
Right.
The other people feel that's the worst thing to do. They don't want any clenching at all.
Right. I understand, I suppose, but they also don't want hatred directed towards them.
Oh, that's true. But also look it up right now. Look it up and they'll go, they'll say it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's really no problem.
All
and
right.
maybe it would be normally.
Submitted by non-enlarged prostate guy, 37.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the honest truth about it, is that
Don't lie to me. I hate that.
Okay, you know what? Let me be honest with you about this. Susan had to explain to me what the commercial with the growing problem was.
Uh-huh.
I never knew what that commercial meant. That your prostate grows and then you have to go more. I just thought it was a bad commercial.
Yeah.
So
now it's genius.
Now it's genius commercial. So the thing is, I learned a lot, and I'm not saying I'm a good diagnostician.
Yeah.
But he said it's a very good sign. I found blood in my urine because when we did the test before we put the cystoscopy, there's no blood in your urine currently. He said that's a very good sign. It means that there's not something dripping from my kidney, like could be kidney.
I prefer drooping.
Hey, I'll start on your missing kidney if you push me too hard.
You can't hurt my missing kidney.
That's true. Did you ask?
And I don't think it's really missing. I know where it went.
You didn't ask for like a storage pocket or something like that, because that's what I would like to.
No, it's apparently everything fills in the void pretty quickly.
The kidneys are on either side. They're both sides, right? You got one on the left and the one on the right.
Correct. Well, I have one on the right.
Stop making fun of your missing kidney. And is it towards the back or is that is the back? That's right. That's why there's a kidney punch is not the way to go.
Yeah, but they took it through the front.
Right. I had to know that, but it does make sense to me. Is it because you don't want people going through your back?
People thinking I'm a ventriloquist dummy.
I like any jokes that are based on. I saw Wilson the other day. He didn't have Anderson's hand up his head. You know what I mean? Those jokes about the guy at the office who's a puppet.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. I can't complete the jokes.
Well, you've never been in an office. Come on.
I know. I really haven't. I can't do Dilbert like you can.
You know.
And don't think it's a good thing to be Dilbert because the guy's a maniac, crazy man.
Yes.
Scott Adams.
Yes.
So anyway, I just took a sip of water. It looks like it could be
one step too much narration, but okay.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make you know that I wasn't doing my usual thing where I decide to
go to a salad bar.
Yeah. All of a sudden you hear the sound of Frogurt. What's that one? Frogurt. It's like yogurt, but it's not. Frogurt.
It's frozen yogurt, actually.
Oh, frozen. Hey. I've lost the ability to do Dennis Miller. But interestingly enough,
Yes.
He has too. So anyway, I think I'm going to be okay. I was really worried about it at first.
Yeah, sure. No, the first time you see blood in your ear, and I'm sure it's a wake-up call.
But I didn't want to think that these things this was a vain thing. I really never wanted to have
well, yeah, it's blood.
Agent.
Oh, VA. V-A-I-N.
What's that?
Oh, V-A-I-N. You said it's a vein thing, and I made a blood joke.
Yeah, but I mean, I just never wanted to have an enlarged. Like you mentioned the Abe Vigoda running joke.
Yeah, well, no one wants the cliche ailments.
That's right.
Old Jewish guy doesn't want prostate problems. I understand.
Well, some of the old comics probably did a high five when I got 7 more minutes.
That's right.
But I hope it never has to. And the guy asked me if I ever
I'm going to get my closer today. I mean a colonoscopy.
Now, folks, settle in because I've got 20 minutes. So I hope it's all done now, and we'll see what happens. But just know if there's something, it's not a matter of it going away. You have to figure out what it is. It may not be dangerous, but it's not like you just thought you saw blood.
Right.
Although the second time did convince me a week later. I go, okay, I didn't imagine it.
Yeah, no, I can see a one-timer and then it goes away. You kind of, you bury it in the recesses of your mind.
Oh, you have to. Yeah. I think a one-timer, anything has to be buried.
Pretty much.
You fall and you hit your head because you think you have a tumor. Once, fine.
Right.
That's so funny to me. The avoidance, I'm so proud of myself that I didn't do any avoiding.
No, I am. And I am proud of you, too.
Well, thank you. And hopefully, I will let you know if there's any trouble.
That's good. Speaking of not avoiding, did I tell you I have a date for my back surgery now in December?
I thought you have to go single. All right. When is it going to be?
In December, towards the end of December.
Are you, I know you're not excited about it, but you must be ready.
I'm ready. Exactly.
Yeah. Is it the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I mean, I wanted you to go to a different guy, but that doesn't make any sense. It's not his fault that you have a situation. You know what? My bedside manner is bad.
Yeah.
It's already bad.
Yeah. No, I've been reassured that he's one of the best in the world.
That's good. That's good. I mean, he didn't. I mean, it was a. But I'm very much hope this works. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
Because I just feel that you've been away from Pilates for so long.
Yeah, but those are unrelated things.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't stop. You stopped Pilates for pandemic reasons.
Correct.
And so then you're starting it right back up.
Well, no, she moved to Northridge.
Okay, well then you're looking around the neighborhood to get another person who's just as good.
It's going to be pretty hard for me to find someone to match the 5-year groove I had with the last person. So.
And a little scooter to get you there.
Exactly. It's not, finding a place within scooter distance.
Maybe I should go on my walks and you should take the scooter next to me.
And I'll just drive in little circles around you the whole time. Like a Russian bear.
Do you know, every time I pass your house, which is probably once a day, I'm still surprised.
That I'm here?
Yeah, that I'm in that area. Whoa. I really do live close to him. In other words, I didn't even know that there was a street near us until I just discovered it. I was going to tell you if you knew about it. But I know that you do know about it.
The street near me?
Yes. That's like a secret street. It's not really a secret street. I don't want to talk anymore about it because I really have. I see Dana Schwartz has been around the house a lot recently.
Yeah.
Turning off the gas. Is that good? I'm kidding.
It's better than turning it on, frankly.
Now, you told me you had work you were doing or something. What's happening with you?
I'm working on a few projects simultaneously.
Oh. Marty added a lot to that.
Yeah, no.
That you haven't talked about.
I don't really like talking about things
Why
when
should
they're in
you?
their early phases.
Now we had a pre-interview.
Yeah.
And you didn't say, in the pre-interview, you didn't say, hey, Andy.
Ask me what I'm working on.
Make sure you get to what I'm working on, if nothing else.
Some of our viewers, or listeners rather, will be happy I've been working on some Mystery Science Theater stuff.
Ooh, on the new show, right?
Yes.
Wow. And are you getting your pal Ed Kindler in? Stupid thing to say. Hey, are they asking about me over there?
Unfortunately, you're not canon.
What's canon?
canon means part of the Bible of the show. It's not official
I
canon.
have never heard that used in relation to a sitcom. A canon?
It's not a sitcom.
Oh. I know it's not a sitcom, but it's a TV show. It's an entertainment TV show.
Yeah, well, Star Trek has canon.
I never. I mean, and this week,
meaning like if I wrote a Star Trek fan novel, whatever happened to that story wouldn't be part of canon.
Yeah, but you're saying words that really I've never heard before. Can you spell it for me at least?
Canon, I believe.
Okay, I only know of the Cannon Boulevard. That's in Beverly Hills,
and that has one of those weird sideways S.
Yes.
Things above it.
Canyon. Am I right?
I don't know.
Do you think...
You're probably not. Let's just be honest.
Is this kind of... Hey, is this kind of behavior left unchecked a problem?
Not as bad as an unchecked prostate.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Andy, this behavior is a growing problem.
It's a going problem. It's a going problem. It's a growing problem. Why wouldn't I?
Now you get it. Now it hits home.
I still don't think it's that funny, though.
It was never meant to be funny. It was code.
Were you, Droopy? I swear to God, if I catch you doing voiceovers.
I got it the whole time.
I'm about to kill those poodles. I'm about to kill those flaccid poodles. And I gotta tell you, I never thought it would be uncomfortable.
Hey,
I never thought I'd be uncomfortable.
If there's ever a time that you should be happy your dick doesn't get hard, it's when someone's shoving a camera up it.
That's the weird thing. It did get, I was very turned on by the whole procedure. He sent me right down to the Marquis de Sade's office.
Yeah.
Is that where the sadism happens?
Yeah, yes, I think it is.
Josh, I can't do this anymore where I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I do this a lot.
Yeah. Mirror work?
No, it's that I just happen to be there and I see that my arm looks very large. I really feel like I'm going to be going through a very bad, what's it called when you think you have everything?
Hypochondriacal phase?
Yeah, it could be one of those weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody likes it when I get into that mode. I've noticed that.
Well,
nobody says, Andy, let me reassure you.
But that's what getting tests is supposed to combat.
No, yeah. Well, that's, you know, sometimes you go, oh, you're a warrior. I just button my urine. Okay, warrior.
Right.
Okay, warrior ward, take a nap. I had that.
Whatever, boy who cried blood in his urine.
This guy who was a technician who was helping the doctor was very funny because he said so. Because they always make jokes. And they're in the urologist. So he makes something joke about it hurts when you pee or something like that, right? So I say, yeah, I had that problem in the Navy. And he says, why are they always in the Navy? That's what he says to me. A non-pro. He says, why is it always the Navy? And then I had 10 minutes of laughter. You don't usually find when you're out and about that you can bond with another human humorously that much?
Once in a while.
Sometimes.
It's a good moment once in a while.
I mean, in general,
yeah,
it's good. People have a sense of humor.
Yeah, but once in a while you'll find that person in the airport line or something who has the right tone to their asides. You know.
That's how you know we're in a beautiful business, as they say, because it's a rare thing. We are like the goose that laid the golden egg.
Are we?
Or something. Well, not that. Well, I think so. I mean, I think I do have ego problems. I think all people have them. Wait, I just had to fill in the space.
I understand.
Have you seen BJ Novak's? I am obsessed by the BJ Novak's. Have you seen the show?
No.
Do you know anything about it?
No.
Does he bother you like he bothers me?
I don't even really know who that is.
He was on The Office.
Okay.
I sent you a thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Into your phone.
Okay.
He's on The Office. I have never, he's a guy who came, I've always made fun of him because he's one of these Harvard guys who knows he's from Harvard.
Yeah. I think most of them do.
And yeah, right. But at least someone like Conan I think has a sense of humor about himself. This guy really. So I would make fun of him a lot, and he would get angry about that.
Yeah.
So that picture is perfect of him.
You did not actually send it, as far as I can tell.
Oh, where do you live? Did it go to you?
No.
Oh, yeah, it went to you. JW. This just went right now. This is not delivering that easy.
All right.
All right, it'll get there.
All right, I'm waiting for a huge BJ Novak's picture.
Yeah, but it's called An Anthology of Now. The premise.
Okay.
The premise. Look at that. If you can't tell that guy is hugely uncomfortable with himself, he has a huge ego, and yet, I don't know, I don't have a bit about it. Sorry.
It's still not here, so.
Oh. I just thought for some reason that I've made fun of him so many times that you remember him.
No, it's another one of my J. Elvis Weinstein blind spots.
And also, you never watched The American Office, so.
I really didn't.
Oh, finally.
There he is. Okay. Oh, that guy.
Yes.
All right.
But look at that photo is really creepy when you get up close to it, because I make fun of him because I don't usually like to make fun of the way people look, but because he's so full of himself, I happen to know that he has Frankenstein bolts on his neck. I'm just telling you that. It's something I happen to know because I've seen it before he got into makeup. He is a Frankenstein cyborg.
Okay.
I know. It's just jealousy. It's not even jealousy.
You know what I say?
What's that?
Fuck BJ Novak.
On this show, we celebrate the low side of Andy.
Yes.
I just don't like him.
So you don't have Hulu, right?
No.
I have. I've been watching. I've been strung along just enough watching Only Murders in the Building, which is Steve Martin and Martin Short's completely fluffy limited series.
Is it like a thriller?
Well, no, it's like a comedy murder mystery about these three people who live in like a Dakota, Upper East Side building filled with celebrities of different eras, and it's they're doing a murder podcast is the conceit.
I like that.
And it's like, it's like completely insubstantial but fun, and it's like the small jokes work way better than the big jokes, and but if you like those two, it's fun.
I always like them together. They're Steve Martin with a lot of people is good. He's good with Alec Baldwin. He's just he's a generous comedian when he's working with other comedians.
Selena Gomez is the third main character, and she brings very little to the table, I have to say.
Well, what else is on? For me to watch this, you have to tell me what else is cooking on Hulu that would get me more than just one show. What else you got?
I can't Hulu boost for you. They mostly run together to me, and it's. I can only tell you what's on Hulu when I'm on Hulu.
But what made you go for? Oh, because it was one of the only options.
I think I bought the whole Disney package.
Oh, because I root against the Discovery Plus package. I just root against it.
Yeah,
it sounds terrible to me.
Well, I think you are not necessarily using your energy the best in that regard.
Oh no, it's better this way. Oh no, you're wrong, Josh. You're wrong. Pettiness. That my doctor told me if I can engage.
I think there's a certain pettiness that's beneath even you.
There is. It never looks good.
I'm saying, punch up.
Well, you see, that's the thing about the BJ Novak thing. I think I am punching up. I just don't.
I feel like I'd be insulting you to agree.
To what?
If I agreed, I'd be insulting you, saying you're punching up at BJ Novak. But yeah, sure. He's got a bus sign and you don't.
Right. And he's kind of he's got a. I really want to build this whole thing against these Ivy League colleges that I didn't get into because I want it to be clear where the anger is coming from.
Right, but did you apply?
I was on the waiting list for Brown.
And for what? For Brown?
Brown.
That's barely an Ivy League school.
Josh.
That's no one. That's like Gummo.
I thought it was. It's not full.
That's like Gummo Ivy League.
I feel better now because I always felt like, I could get on the Brown. But now you're saying if I got in the Brown, they wouldn't have thought it was Harvard.
No, they wouldn't. No,
it would not have the same cachet.
There's a much smaller percentage who think Ivy League when you say Brown than if you say Harvard or Yale or Columbia.
And rub it in. Why didn't you even go there? And I'm defensive. Yes, there are certain schools. You're right. But I just there's something about these Harvard types, and I don't know. I've lost the anger. I'll come up with a more sophisticated reason why everyone should be. I'll watch his anthology.
Although
now.
I like that you're at least narrowing down your hatred from just the universe that is successful people to
he's
to Ivy League success.
No, he's considered hugely successful. He wrote on The Office for many years. He was in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Hello.
What Quentin Tarantino movie was he in?
He played one with that German guy's very funny.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, where they're hiding underneath or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've decided that I don't think I'll ever see another one of his movies. How would I ever see something like Kill Bill? Under what scenario would you see me seeing that?
Yeah, I don't think you'd enjoy that. I do think you'd enjoy Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, however.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah. So
I did see it.
So what's your fucking point? It's his last. You saw his last
Many
movie.
of my points are limited. No, in general, I don't like those genre of movies that are referential to things I don't know about.
Yeah.
So it doesn't interest me. They go, hey, it's like the Grindhouse movie.
But that's not why you would not like Kill Bill.
Oh, why wouldn't I like it?
Because it's very bloody.
Oh, yeah, I don't like very bloody stuff.
I know it's very bloody.
Yeah, but I watch these true crime things. I don't like the true crime things.
Except for the ones that are bloody.
Yeah, when they go buried in the back.
I like a bludgeoning, not a stabbing.
Tonight on an all-new Buried Under Your Porch. How many episodes of that can you watch?
Depends if you are just a murder enthusiast or if you also like porches.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't. If you like it, then you should be investigating it. Someone who's watching it for the torture is someone who should be reported to the authorities.
See?
Why is that? Is that like Al Jolson's voice? It's just so comfortable. You wanna go me?
I don't think everyone finds comfort in that necessarily.
You don't think so, see? What do you think, see? I think he had more than just see. He probably had a variety of things.
He did. He said other words.
Well, Cagney used to go, in some gangster movie, he says, what do you hear, what do you say? I said that for like a year, but no one picked it up.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, what do you hear, what do you say?
Who's the Jew with the gangster banter over there?
I always take comfort with that there was Bugsy Siegel or somebody, a couple of tough Jews.
Sure. Meyer Lansky.
Yes, don't fuck with Meyer Lansky, right?
Right.
But they never said don't fuck with Andy's high school teacher, Mr. Walensky. That you never heard.
That's true, unless it's time for your playing test.
Mr. Walensky had a lot of hair in his ear. I mean, you can't have that much hair in your ear when you're teaching kids. It's going to come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't his wife say, come on?
If she was a good wife, she'd trim it out for him.
Is that what happens on the show, The Good Wife?
I think so, yes. This week, she shaves his back.
Are you telling me that tonight there will be a funny car? Okay, I can't even hold the energy from my Klugman. Nobody requests my impressions, I know.
That's more like a hacky Kirk Douglas impression.
It must be nice when you have the ability to do many voices to revel in how I can't do them. But you hurt my feelings because I want to be you one day. I want to be the man of 12 to 15 voices. Susan couldn't believe those were all your voices. That's so great. It's not the TV at the bow commercials. Not the TV. Oh, that's him going. No, it's not. No, it's not. Bow. How was my impression?
That was good, especially of Susan.
Ow, it's not TV. It's those commercials that get me It's not TV. Not TV. It's those commercials that get me.
I'll tell you something right now. Thank God we got this day down because now Friday's going to be a breeze. Am I right?
Yeah.
You put a solid. This is what I say. This is the nest egg, like in Lost in America.
That's right.
Oh, I did think because you were talking to me, we do communicate outside the show, and I thought I really need to see Defending Your Life again, so I will watch it again because I really have only seen it twice.
Yeah, and considering your retention rate, it's going to be a delight for you.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But once I nail those down, it stays in the memory bank.
I'm guilty of it too. I can watch. If I don't watch a movie 2 times, it's as if I had never seen it a lot of the time.
Yeah. That is for sure. Or like, even when we watched Hacks, I started watching Hacks again, which I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
But we forgot we'd watched 5 episodes.
Oh, really?
Of it. Yeah. But then it's a very funny show. Does it have 2 seasons?
No, just one so far. Did you watch the Emmys? Were they?
I tried to watch a lot of the Emmys, but I wasn't feeling that well that night, so I didn't watch. How was the Emmys?
It was hard to watch. I didn't watch a lot of it.
It's the casual feel to it is just. It was Anthony Amberson. Somebody was hosting that wasn't making me laugh. I don't know who it was.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, that's great, Andy. That's great. Nice job, Andy. I don't know. Was Sidney Poitier hosting it? I don't know who was hosting it. I think it was Harry Belafonte or Bill Cosby. I don't know. I can't remember all these groups. But the people won big. I know Hacks won good. Who else won big?
Ted Lasso won a lot.
Oh, that makes me want to watch
The Crown
that.
won a lot.
I like The Crown.
If it was white people in England, it was a winner this year.
And you've seen all of the Ted Lasso now, right?
I still have not watched the 2nd season now.
Oh, I think you're a little concerned, maybe. No,
I'm not concerned. I'm not the least bit concerned, but nor am I compelled.
Do you ever get the feeling when you like a show that you do get a little nervous about the subsequent episodes, or you never that involved in it to say, what do I care if it goes off the rails?
Yeah, the second one.
But not when you're emotionally invested, because I'm like, it would be great if this new Sopranos show was anywhere like the original Sopranos, but that's already probably not the way to go.
It's a movie, so.
What?
Yeah, it's just a movie.
Oh, the Saints of New Jersey?
Yeah, it's just a movie.
Well, then that's not going to be a 7-year thing.
No, it goes right off the rails after 2 hours, probably.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not yet.
You're not going to?
I don't know why I had that kind of flippant, dismissive response.
No, I understand.
I will see it.
I will see it too, but I know that he's like a guy who, to get him to do it, I would have been surprised if he had committed to another long series, but I would have wanted that.
Well, I'm sure it's, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was wildly successful that it served as a pilot for a series.
Oh. I said that like I could get a part on it. Well, I guess. Well, Whelp. Who came up with that? Whelp.
Don't know.
Don't look. You can't go from 0. You can't. You have to send me a letter. This time, if we have trouble this time, you got to send me a letter.
No, I haven't shut off. I just had nothing there. I'm ready to field the next question. I just had nothing to do with that one.
Yes. Well, I do. I want to thank you. If nothing, I do want to thank you for the fact that you were able to solve the fact that you can't use a mic that I'm using and be a professional podcaster. I have to get a boom.
Yeah, you do. It'll solve your whole situation.
Right, and including my urological problems.
Yes, for sure.
I thought I was with UTA last week.
But it was a UTI.
Oh, mama, would you go bing better than the rain? Do you know what that song was? Oh, Oklahoma with the beanbags making down the hole.
Ah, now I do.
Now you do. I thought I am very excited. You know that today's the first day of, or maybe soon is the first day, or yesterday was fall.
Yes, and it's 100.
I know, so bad. It's so bad. I really didn't enjoy the heat today.
No.
Or yesterday.
No.
But because I'm walking a lot, Josh, I noticed the seasons changing. Although Susan says that could be age.
Yes, it could. It might be a metaphor you're experiencing.
No, but did you ever? It gets so dark so early. I noticed.
Yeah.
June 21st, everyone's partying. I thought that lasts for a couple of months. It does not.
Yeah, exactly that long, actually.
Sunset is now, take a guess, 6:20, I would say, 6:15.
Yeah. I'm sorry, are we playing?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. It's just so much, you know what? It's just so much fun to chat.
6:49 is our sunset tonight.
6:49?
Yes.
6:49. Oh, really has come down fast. Oh, boy. Are you saying the weather is a sign that...
Captain, it's the lull alert.
Are you out in the world? Are you going to things? Still not going to things.
I am not going to things yet, no.
Have you tried my bagel place? I think
not.
it's excellent.
No, I'm not doing a lot of carbs right now.
Yeah, and there's no reason to. Why should you hurry out and do it?
I was going to suggest, since it is only 2 blocks away, why buy a dozen at a time?
Oh, no. No, I must have told you the wrong thing. It's not near here. It's my favorite bagel place. I'm so sorry.
But it's within range of your walk.
Yeah, but at the far end.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I am walking there more than once a week, stupid. I didn't call myself stupid. You did.
Yeah.
So I am going there. So why would I buy a dozen? I didn't think I'd be, because I'm amazed at how much territory I cover.
Yeah.
You know. And this guy.
Come next year, I'll be able to join you.
Yeah, I think I do see this light at the end of the tunnel. I do feel as if, I don't know. Did you know that we have the lowest rate in the country, I think?
Yeah, we do.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Can't do better than best.
We're like 2 people on the porch. We're on the porch.
Yeah.
We're on the porch.
That's
it. Yep.
My front porch is where I keep all my coffee and salmon.
I know. I just love that day. I still chuckle whenever I think of, not really. Would you like, here, I'll show you a picture of it, room temperature, if that helps.
There's actually an Al Jaffe stink line coming off of it.
It's a big hunk of store-bought salmon, and you're not salivating? You have your own thing over there.
I really do.
You really do. But there are times...
I think of it as a fiefdom, really.
It is. You have your own little... like you're the king of your thing.
Yeah. I got bombarded yesterday here at my castle. A branch came down, took one of my ceramic tiles off the roof and shattered on the ground.
Was it scary?
It was one of those, well, that sounds like a bad thing happened kind of things, because it was like, bam, and then like big, ceramic shattering sound from 20 feet.
Did it freak out Lucky and Clyde?
No, they were shockingly unfazed, I have to say.
And you had a tree fall not that long ago, too.
Yeah, both were branches. This was a branch from a different tree.
Hey, next time, don't buy a house in the middle of an old growth forest, Chuchi. So what do you have to do? Do they have to come out?
I'm going to have to get someone to come out, yeah.
Oh. I told you the homeowner minute would be the best part of our show.
That's where the sponsorships really come.
I want to be the character. I have a new character. I'm not going to do it, but an annoying character would be the guy who just can't stop complaining about his mortgage. Those the guys are the worst. Oh, yeah. That used to be a thing in the old days. Yep, I got a mortgage. Now nobody has a mortgage. I mean, you do, and I do. But we have a very successful,
this bit is really on a shaky foundation.
No, it's not. I can tell. I've done this business long enough. I've been in this business long enough where I can tell when I'm onto something. You know how you pedal easier on a joke going downhill? I knew this was going to be gold in about 5 seconds, and you blew it. Can you tell me if the Mets are mathematically eliminated so I don't have to look at the paper?
I cannot tell you.
Can you tell me if the Jets lost their second game?
I'm pretty sure they did, yes.
Isn't that depressing?
The Vikings lost another second heartbreaking game in a row, too.
That's gotta hurt. That's terrible. But they probably have a better team. See, you're sad because they have a team. You've got Joe Cap.
Right.
You've got the Fearsome Foursome.
Sure.
You've got
the purple
Carl Eller.
The Purple People Eaters.
Right. Carl Eller.
Sure. Alan Page.
Alan Page he retired last year.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by my ability to remember.
Mick Tingelhoff.
Oh, that's right. That was a great team.
Chuck Foreman.
Who?
Chuck Foreman.
Wasn't he a coach too?
He was a running back.
Oh. Right.
You're thinking of Chuck Noll.
That's right. And who was their other running back? They didn't have another running back.
Who? The Vikings?
Yeah. Joe Cap. Why do I remember that name?
Because he was also a New York Giant.
Who? Oh, okay. And who is the great cornerback of the Vikings for years? Or receiver?
Well, there was a few. There was starting with Ahmad Rashad.
That's okay. And his brother.
Then you had your Randy Moss and Chris Carter.
Randy Moss and Chris Carter, I think I'm more familiar with. Yeah. And they had long careers.
They did.
But you've never won a championship. Tell me you've never won a Super Bowl, right?
I personally have never won a Super Bowl.
But the team hasn't.
Nor has the team.
And it didn't win an NFL.
And if the team won, I wouldn't feel as if I won a Super Bowl.
Right. Maybe when you were a kid, you would.
I would have, for sure.
Yeah. Were you both your brother and you like diehard people, or were you both?
No, we were kids with a peripheral understanding of the game.
Well, then right.
It was just on Sundays.
I cannot believe how much I loved baseball and sports. That I never thought. I thought when I got older, I would just have more time for it.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the interest in it as much as I did. I mean, I'm not.
I understand. I've watched a few actually great NFL games this year, but I can't retain them.
Yes. But, there's a certain way of thinking that, like, baseball's dead. I mean, people say baseball's dead, in a way.
Yeah, they say that, but then,
it's still going.
Then someone gets a $300 million contract for 9 years,
I think it's like, it really is, yeah. It really is built into the fabric, but I don't watch a lot of that either.
Well, I mean, I guess if you figure, you're a stadium and you have 82 games, that's a lot of revenue. That's a lot of ticket revenue.
Yes.
Even if you're not selling them all out, which clearly you're not.
Well, that's why the football teams, that's why the cities get mad at the NFL wanting them to, give them all this money for a football team for only 8 Sundays.
Right.
Out of the year.
They've added a game this year.
What are you saying? It's 18 game season?
17 game season.
Oh, 17. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jets. We're not done yet. I wonder
now
why they did that.
you can go, an odd number.
You know what? I'm tired of we're coming back or something like that.
Good. Did you write Jets on a Mets pennant or Mets on a Jets pennant?
It was Jets on a Mets pennant because 2 weeks later, the follow-up story, right?
Please refresh me because I was still trying to remember what you wrote.
I wrote Mets on the back of a Jets banner.
And got marker. And got marker.
No, not ink all over the bathroom.
Yeah.
That I don't remember doing it.
All right.
And then 2 weeks later at a Jets game, I asked my dad if I could get another pennant. And he said no because of what you did. That's bad, Josh. That's bad.
It is bad.
It hit me again. Not like I'm a kid, but it hit me again. Hit me a little bit, just a little bit. Like, why that? No, I'll tell you why. Because my mom was depressed. You can't come up with a reason for it.
Right.
It was. You could say, why is she upset about that? Why was she upset about anything? She was just depressed.
Right. As the kids say today, because mental illness.
because craziness, because drugs weren't, because worse drugs. Yeah. And that's what therapy is good for, is to come to accept that. Because I think there's a little part of you, a little boy that always, or a little girl that always goes, you still think, why, you don't understand, why are they treating you that way? What have I done?
Right.
I always thought like most families had, but that's not true. I always thought most families had one of the parents is depressed. It's just not true.
I don't think that's
because
true.
depression is not that prevalent. I guess it is prevalent, but it's not sweeping the nation.
Yeah, it's not 50%.
No, it's not 50%. But also, like back then, we didn't know. We didn't know what ADHD was.
Although in my house, my dad's the candidate.
The candidate for what?
For depression.
Oh, okay. So he was the closest one.
Yeah, he had I would say bouts of intermittent depression, as do I.
Oh, yeah. But then that seems like it runs in the family, right?
I think it seems
a little
to.
bit.
It seems to in the Weinstein men.
Yeah. Whereas I'm all about not the depression. I'm all about why have you? I'm in pain. Like that. Everybody's got to hear about it.
Right.
I think depression is really. I've told you this a long time ago. I always thought that quiet people were always more well-adjusted and happier, but they're not always the case.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a blanket. I was realizing just the other day about how I firmly see myself as an introvert now.
Right.
But I was not an introvert as a kid.
Why do you think it's changed?
I don't know. I think stand-up had a lot to do with it, honestly.
I see.
Both because it forced me to spend so much time alone, but also because it put me in this sort of I self-segregated myself into observer.
Yeah,
I think,
makes sense.
which caused a lot of my thinking and processing to go internal and underground.
Makes sense.
I mean, I was never like tell you everything I'm feeling, but I was much more social and attention seeking.
Did you realize how you were did you not realize how you would be at parties till you were, like, I didn't realize that I had all that anxiety in my life. Now I see, I was uncomfortable at parties. I just didn't understand what was happening to me. But did you not know till you went to parties that this would happen? Like you couldn't focus on conversations and.
No, it took me a while to really sift it out.
Because I was thinking about that the other day because I heard someone in the background of some thing I was watching. I was going, oh my God, if I could not, if I let that other voice in just a little more, I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
It's like where your ear wants to go and your ear probably picks up a lot, tends to pick up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Man. Yeah. If you're a person of where noises bother you, where sounds bother you or things like, well, you're not that way. You're not like, it's not like you're at a party and your eyes are darting all around because the sounds are bothering you, but this is concerning.
No, yeah, it's not like it's not a manic state that I go into. It's just it is my ear gets pulled by another conversation, and then I get anxiety that I'm not tracking the conversation that I'm in.
Right. Sometimes I feel like I'm the last person to learn what's so obvious about life. Like, to me, it's like, oh, everyone has fun at parties, but then nobody seems to have fun at parties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the OCD part of me has always been like, why are we all standing around here?
The other thing is I'm predisposed to being shy.
Right.
So I kind of thought, for a long time, I felt like that was what I was rubbing up against at parties.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not. It's really that once I'm engaged in the conversation, it's hard to be in the conversation at a party for me.
And I'm getting slightly better at making when I go to parties, when I don't want to go to one last, but just don't stand at the same spot. Just moving it around. Right. The other problem with parties in general is I can't stand up anymore. I mean, how long are we going to stand around? Don't you? I mean, I always notice at parties that the human body is not a particularly good vehicle for life.
Yeah.
You constantly are exhausted. Like if I'm talking, you go, wait, we can't talk anymore until we sit down somewhere.
Yeah, I don't have that. I think that might be something that's happened in the last 14 years to you because I'm not there yet.
Well, that's it. That's an age thing. It is an age thing. Finally, I would say that other than that, we're in exact same shape. You should look forward to what
it all balances out. You've got more kidneys. I've got smaller prostates.
Yeah. Now, why didn't I get why did I want one kidney? There's no scenario.
Would you have liked my cancer? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll figure out what the bit would have been, and then I'll come in later. I know. No. I'll do it later. Catch you on the Rehu.
Uh-huh. You know, Andy, as the kids say, because bored. You're fighting the good fight badly.
Yes, I'm fighting the good fight badly.
Memory foam makes you lose your memory.
Why does that make you laugh, Josh?
Because it hurts to cry.
Spiral. It's gonna go viral.
That's fantastic.
One of these days.
Mr. Andy Kindler, tell me which celebrity's been troubling you.
You see how I'm interrupting right now?
That's Weinstein keeps hoping you leave space open so we can sneak a little joke in. Change his middle name to Elvis just so his initials would spell out J-E-W.
And that's why I still love you.
Spiral. Let's put up a paywall.
Here's the way the paywall will work.
To see if podcasting pays off. Thought Spiral's gonna go viral.
Anything but.
One of these days.
Sometimes I pretend like I'm an engineer guy, but I have no knowledge.
All right, but you have the posture.
I could play one.
All right.
Andy, give me a little bit more of this. All right, buddy boy. Buddy boy?
And then you do the sarcastic aside about his choice.
Yeah, look at that's what this idiot wants.
Good, hey, give me another half a dB on 4. Great, you saved the record. That'd be.
Hey, I came up with something for a new bit for us. It's a version of "Don't Mock Me."
Yeah.
Don't mock me.
See how I held back just so I could hear your idea.
Ooh. These are things I could learn from, right? Why is it? Yeah, I'm delighted like a newborn child again. Keep on mocking me, baby. Yeah. Keep on mocking me. Keep on mocking me, baby. Keep on mocking me, baby.
Yeah.
I like it.
The problem with it is using Steve Miller to mock somebody is kind of like, I don't know, something funny with something funny.
Right. And also, I don't want to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know how, we don't need it.
I don't want to have to pay for it.
Stop doing that voice. John. You've lost all control and you're going into unasked for baby voices.
That's right. That's what my impressions are actually reverting.
I can go right to this book. I wrote down ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not kidding around.
Page 1. Keep on mocking me, baby.
Keep on mocking me, baby. Did I say keep on mocking me, baby?
You did. You got that. You got there.
Then it must be in this book. I have 2 books. I don't have just one book.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Huh?
Literally got nothing.
Ouch.
Again. Nothing.
And you needed a prop for that gag.
I did. I have my music stand in here.
Yeah.
You can't see it unless you are looking at me. So don't look at me, please.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Flomax. All right, look, did I mention Flomax in the last show?
You've mentioned it a couple times about first coming to terms with the pun in the commercial and then coming to terms with actually taking the product, apparently.
Yeah, but I don't think you got what I sent to you yesterday. I just got this. That wasn't, I just received the text. I just got the joke.
Yeah, I figured that's what you meant.
But that happened so much. Why would you know what I'm saying? When that happens, I call that Tuesday. No. The man who doesn't know what he's doing. I do know who that person is now. No. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It sounds like me at a competency hearing. Yeah, I do know what that.
Yes.
Hey, I have to say that I'm very impressed with how funny that was because I really didn't think about it.
That was good.
I went right into Rickles,
Yeah.
an 8. It was a Rickles 8.
It was good because not only was it a good joke, but it did save you from a possible conservatorship.
I don't. Would you like to briefly explain to me so I don't have to read up on it? But is Britney Spears? She's getting screwed, or she was screwed? I mean, is she getting her rights back, or?
I think things are turning around for her now. I think.
But her father's not a good guy, really, right?
Well, honestly, I don't know. Probably.
Okay,
not,
you don't know.
Probably
Right.
not a great guy. I get the sense
Right.
not a great guy at all.
Right.
But I also see father being concerned for daughter. Now,
True.
when you go 15 years deep into that conservatorship and you're still saying things are fucked, and she's going, no, everything's okay.
Yeah. Then there's a little bit when she's nearing retirement age.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is 30 for women.
Folks, we're not making these. We're just saying what's true, folks. The ladies don't get the roles. Two guys who don't care, right? Look, I wish it wasn't true. Not enough to advocate for it in the courts. I'm done with that guy.
That's okay.
It was pretty good, though.
How was the Sam Seder?
It was very, very much fun. It was fun. It was fun. I think the kids. I always think the kids. Oh, we plugged the podcast too.
Nice.
Very exciting over there. That'll
be like 3 cherries lining up.
We were talking about some Chris Cuomo thing. I don't know if you saw that email from
I did, yes.
Chris Cuomo. Look, I'm writing to tell you that I don't need to write to you. I'm writing to tell you, I know, you know, he sounds just like his brother, doesn't he?
Well, he does in your impression, for sure.
I don't do, I only do a couple of voices. I think I do a great Andrew Cuomo.
You only do one voice per family. Every Marx brother is the same for you.
You told me how the Marx brothers were named, right? I like that story.
I don't think I told it to you, but that's okay.
But it's like Chico, Papa, Pinka, Pinka, all around the table. I don't think I'm getting the story
I
right.
don't think you necessarily nailed it now.
And we'll be back with the Dementia Hour. When we say the Dementia Hour, folks, we're getting a lot of in the chat room, a lot of people getting upset at us. We're not saying we're not coming out with a position on dementia. I'm trying to put myself in the mind of a kind of a stupid AM radio guy who doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay.
Look, ladies.
Big leap.
What do you mean? Are you saying it's like my person? It's like how I already have. In other words, that's not very far from my own. First of all, that's not an AM radio guy. That's the FM radio guy.
Yeah.
65 degrees. You know why is it always 65 degrees outside Los Angeles? In the studio from the show, Mystery Science Theater 3000, Josh Elvis Weinstein. Josh, thanks for coming down.
Thanks, Crazy Andy, for having me.
Now I understand. There's a remake. That explains because I don't understand what that show was on. Where was that show on MTV? Betty, tell us about it.
It doesn't really matter, Crazy Andy.
My comedy.
I don't like to live in the past.
I'm Crazy Andy. My comedy is insane. That's delightful. That is a delightful takeoff on a 50-year-old commercial. I'm not Crazy Eddie. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane. When did it stop being charming to make fun of crazy people like that? When does that stop being funny?
I don't know that it has actually stopped being funny. It might have stopped being appropriate, but not funny.
I'm Crazy Andy. When I was 12, I got dropped on my head, and now these prices are insane.
Please come take advantage of my mental disability.
Hello. I'm Andy, not quite right in the head.
My loss of function is your gain.
I was left deprived of air. Why is he like a DJ?
I don't know what's happening to Crazy Eddie.
Hey, the premise is, hey, I shot 7 people. I'm crazy. I shot 7 people in Detroit, but now I'm here to give you the best prices ever.
By the way, you really missed a good joke in my loss of function is your gain.
Hey, my loss of...
You just rolled
of memory.
right past it.
Oh, I actually heard it. That's the sad part. My loss of function is your gain. Oh, I was already, I was 3 sheets. I was 4 sheets in, or I never understood what those drunk things mean. 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
In other words, like that sounds like you could kind of like.
That's a sailing
fly
expression.
away.
That's a sailing expression.
Ah. Is that what you do when you're trying to go somewhere?
I'm not exactly sure what it means, but I know it's a sailing expression.
When you tack net?
Sheets are sails, like a jib sheet.
I watch a lot of Below Deck, so I think...
Yeah, well, get up on deck where the sails are and you'll learn something.
I actually was an expert... If I said to you anything that was expert that had to do with the water, it would be untrue. Because I could barely swim.
Really?
You've heard the story a million times, right?
Apparently not.
Oh, every year... Oh, you have heard it.
No, go.
Oh, every year I would go to summer camp where they sent me starting at age 7.5, and they sent me for 4 weeks. When I was 7.5, when I was 8.5, they sent me for 2 months, and they would have a lake that seemed to be 40 degrees, and it was very frightening. Little Andy was very frightened.
Yeah.
And my nickname was my camp nickname was Squeaky. So I always hated it. I wasn't good at swimming, and I've never learned to be good at swimming. But I can, tread water, as you've seen in my act, and I can.
Can you do that thing where you blow up your pants and use them as a life preserver?
No, I can rest. I can lay on my back.
Yeah.
I think I could survive maybe a couple
Do you know the
an hour.
survival float though, with the face down?
No, I don't know that one. I do it with my back up.
Yeah, that takes a lot. That takes more energy.
Oh, so what are you doing? Are you playing possum, but you're in the water?
Pretty much.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I mean, I got junior lifesaver certified at some point.
So you're now.
I'm a strong swimmer, Andy. A very strong swimmer.
Well, I understand you give a lot to charitable organizations.
I give a nice piece, a nice chunk.
I'm not a strong swimmer, and I always would use the stereotype Jewish, but I think Mark Spitz was Jewish.
Yeah, I think black people have more of a claim on the can't swim stereotype than Jews do, because we have Grossingers and things.
Right, and so were you like a lifeguard and stuff?
I was not a lifeguard. No, I would be scared of jumping down from that high chair.
I was scared.
But I could probably pull someone out of the water who was in trouble.
I'm sure you're a man who's you're a strapping 6'2". I don't know what I'm saying, but I never could do it. I probably could pull somebody out of the water.
Yeah, but would
let me give it a shot?
But would you?
I don't know.
I see you more as the Phil Collins singing to you type.
Something in the air tonight?
Yeah. Do you not know that urban legend?
No. No, what is it?
The whole urban legend was that like Phil Collins like saw a guy letting another guy drown, and then like invited him to his show, and then sang that song to him with a spotlight on him in the front row or something.
That is the worst. Who could buy? Who more than 4 people would buy into that?
It was around for a long time.
Oh, that's great. The world was simpler then before the internet. You really could think Eddie Haskell was, in Vietnam. No one could check on anything.
Exactly.
You had the World Book, you had the Britannica, and you had Collier's.
But imagine how slowly anti-vax stuff would spread if we were in those days.
Listen to me. I'm so delighted by the ignorance. The ignorance is delightful.
So should we start? I'm kidding.
Oh, I mean, you don't actually realize that. You got me. You got me.
Do you want to go into questions?
Yeah, but I hope I can. Okay, here's what I do. I go to the thought spiral.
We'll go to questions, and you'll figure it out, and the theme song will cover this part.
Okay.
It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show. Eastside 76 says, I would love if either or both of you said, from the desert to the sea to all of California, a good evening. Thank you, R.I.P. Jerry Dunphy.
Oh, did he just...
I don't know.
Did he just pass?
He posted this in July, so...
Yeah. And isn't he somewhat who Ted Baxter was basing himself on?
I hope so.
Yeah. I remember Jerry Dunphy, but I don't remember much about him.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a fake name. No offense to the Dunphy family. Dunphy.
It does sound like Ted Baxter, kind of.
It does. Ben Earhart, I was wondering if you could have James Mason do a commercial promo spot for your album Chunks. What is this? This sounds like this is the greatest hits questions.
Well, despite your scorn, Mr. Kindler,
no, I have no. Don't get me wrong, James.
I just do the job. If I could do Thunderbird, I could do Chunks. I'm sure I can. Ladies and gentlemen, it's come to my attention. There's a fine new comedy album. Well, not so new, frankly. It's 2019. But there's a piece of comedy that I believe all of you will find interesting. It has an interesting taste. It's called Chunks, and I think you'll enjoy it a great deal.
Clean. You did it like you were doing a cameo almost.
I wish I could do cameo as James Mason.
I'm going to have you read the next one.
Pickles says, I'd like to produce a remake of Blame It on Rio, and I have Demi Moore back in the Valerie Harper role. Think Tom Hanks would take the Michael Caine spot alongside some fresh face and boobs? You two willing to give notes on my script outline?
I do not remember this. I think I remember this movie. It's Demi Moore with who's the love interest? Is it Tom Hanks?
No, it's Michael Caine.
That can't be true. Michael Caine and Demi Moore?
Well, the point is two old middle-aged dudes. Michael Caine, I believe Joe Bologna was the other middle-aged dude. And their daughters go to Rio. And Joe Bologna's daughter, who wasn't Demi Moore, falls in love with Michael Caine and throws herself at him sexually, is my recollection. And he
sounds like something I wrote
in his middle age fluxing of morals, apparently. Engages in this, is my recollection, and all hell breaks loose.
It sounds like it was It sounds like it shouldn't have been. It sounds like it should have been shut down.
It was very 80s.
Blame it on, and I think it was kind of a comedy.
There was just a lot in the 80s. There was just a lot of scenes of I'm a girl with boobs.
I don't think that will be remembered as the golden age of movies.
I don't think it will either.
No,
though some snuck through. Let's be honest. Dan Wade says, big news, gents. My engagement to Naomi Watts is now official. From now on, please refer to me as Dan Wade. What?
I am very impressed with that joke. I couldn't come up with a question that funny.
No.
But that sounds a little condescending to me, right? I went from nice job to something condescending.
Was it
Josh,
was it condescending or was it self-deprecating?
I think it was both.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Because it was funnier than you.
Stephen Elton Yates, this is by the way, this is an honor for me.
Now this is condescending.
Josh, please tell Andy that I am, in fact, actually making a semi-solid food prepared from milk, fermented by added bacteria, often sweetened and flavored. Good luck explaining what that means to him and dealing with his meltdown. I don't know where is it. He's talking about my yogurt, I think, right?
He's talking about him making yogurt. And we've been talking about it for 3 weeks in a row now, I'll be honest.
I have to say, I get the feeling he puts on a funny hat before he comes on.
Yeah.
He's goofy. He's verifiably goofy, Stephen Elton. Yeah.
He's making yogurt. That's the only. Why is that so goofy? It's just a man making yogurt.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm the bad guy.
Yeah,
I'm the bad guy because I'm pointing out that
I think you are.
I just think he's a little obsessed with it. Josh, am I correct? Oh, is this you? Should you read this or should I read it?
I don't know. Go for it. I don't care.
Isai 76.
He's back.
He's back. Josh, am I correct that if anyone dared make fun of you during school, you had the power to cut them down horrifically? Did you? P.S. I write my questions in advance because I can't follow tweets while I work, and you're my favorite show, and I hate being left out. Ah, it's pretty cool.
It was. I think by high school I was the guy that would cut you down horrifically. But
oh my God.
Leading up to high school, no, I think I was much more, I wasn't teased very much. I was always a sort of prominent person, just despite being a fat kid.
Right.
So I never felt particularly bullied but, I think people were afraid of me because of my tongue come high school time.
But never to the point, but you would know not to try and cut down on an actual bully. You know.
What do you mean? No, that's the best, is to cut down a bully.
No. I learned very early in my life that a bully will not respond with repartee.
Yeah, but
just punch you in the face.
Yeah, well, I was a much bigger person than you.
I know. That's the thing. You never got your comeuppance. All I did was get my comeuppance.
Well, perhaps you were owed more comeuppance.
I don't think so. I think I was a sweet kid who was short.
Yeah.
I maybe was obnoxious, but not that obnoxious that you have to come up and go, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was never,
Yeah.
I would say, much like today, I'm not a big confrontation hound.
No, you're not. I don't see. Yeah, when you throw the coffee back in people's faces in restaurants.
Yeah.
The only time you get upset is when you've clearly said that you want your French fries overcooked or whatever you say. You go through a whole speech. You give them a laminated card.
I do well done. I said, good, I fries well done. That's it.
And if they don't come well done, you call the waiter over and you go, look, you grab his head and you shove it into the plate and go, you see what's wrong here?
No, I just went over this yesterday with the guy I had lunch with because it was the second time in about a week. We're working on a project, so we've had lunch a couple of times within a week. And he's like, why do you order your fries well done? It's like, because I want them well done. And if they don't come well done, then I don't eat the fries, which is a good thing.
It's really interesting, though. It's like a thing
it makes
like...
it so I will only eat the fries if they're perfect for me.
That's right. That's right.
And that's only, probably, it's, half the time generously.
Well, I've had bad experiences not bad experiences like traumatic, but I've had potatoes that were undone I hate that taste.
I do too.
Yeah. And it's probably, isn't it also kind of can make you sick?
I don't know about that.
Probably not.
Yeah, not if it's been in the fryer for a while. I think it's just underdone.
Which was the sequel to
But it's not
Underdog.
a fear of I mean, my definition of underdone fries is another man's done fry.
That's true. That's very true. One man's, exactly.
But I still,
One man's
it's
exact-
my way of making it so that if I'm eating them, it's a treat for me.
Oh, that's what I like about you. Not just what I like about you, but you're very comfortable with your likes and dislikes.
My peccadillos?
That made me laugh. Don't call me Boopsy, he says. More material from my Gallagher 2 style Kindler tribute act. There once was a lady from Newark who had a chin the shape of a... Really? Limericks? I'm doing limericks now? What century is it? How much of a hack are you? Don't call me Boopsy.
No, I think
Why do I sound like Don Adams?
Well, you missed the read there. How much of a hack are you? Don't call me Boopsy.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Really? Limericks? I'm doing limericks now? What century is this? Is it? How much of a hack are you? Don't call me Boopsy. Boom.
It's a little theater
Locked
piece.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know why I don't get more requests to answer mail on shows.
That's what Cameo is for, my friend. Jason Parton says, it's not the podcast I have a problem with. It's the show notes.
Oh, why did I show this thread though? Do you have that show this thread?
Yeah, because he tagged the previous.
Yeah, but I hit it and now I'm confused.
Okay, well, push back.
Look, let me push back on that. Why don't you unpack the next question?
Stephen Elton Yates is retweeting your tweet about yogurt, which was yogurt. Which
really was terrible.
Yeah.
I really have to tell you that. I have to tell you something now. I really feel horribly like I hate myself for that tweet.
Yeah. Oh, you're not wrong.
I don't even know who is that.
Yeah. This goes back to my point of it's okay to delete tweets, Andy.
Well, no. I don't have a problem deleting that, but to have put it out there to begin with.
Yeah, no, it was
is what bothers me.
Desperate, sad. I think, another strike against you at the competency hearing.
Okay, 5150.
So Andy tweeted a bowl of yogurt with the caption "Yogurt," and Stephen Elton Yates.
Don't read it again.
Stephen Elton Yates retweeted it and said, "Thank you for reaching out to me this way. I'm so glad you are enjoying this treat. I consider our friendship repaired. Cobalt, atomic number 27, melts at 27-23 degrees Fahrenheit."
You know what? He's just making. First of all, I don't even know. How do we know that he's making up these things? I don't even know. Cobalt. Does that sound like an element to you?
It is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. I'm wrong. Here's from. I don't know how Carol pronounced.
Cody the Sloth is where we're at.
Oh, where are we?
Cody the Sloth.
Oh, I don't have that.
All right. Well, then
you have to read that.
Read the one you have then.
I have Carol. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
I don't
Carol.
even see Carol.
Carol, I never know how to pronounce your last name, and it's my fault. A hypothetical for both of you: if you were a woman, would you go on a date with a fireman in exchange for being able to ride in the little box part on the back of a fire truck?
Yeah.
Is this a real? I would. If this is a real offer, I would go on that for sure.
Yeah. Well, do I get to ride or steer?
And do you, if you have to look like Trump looked.
If I was a woman and that was the offer, I think so, because that means that there's a certain culpability to his fellow firemen and women.
Right.
That he's brought you around there and everyone knows you're on a date, so it's like an extra level of safety.
Yes. But the whole thing sounds like, I think it's a contrived. No, okay.
It's a question. It's just a hypothetical question.
It's a hypothetical. Of course it's a hypothetical. Why do I ruin everything? I always ruin it at the end.
Yeah.
I could leave well enough alone and things would go well.
That's right.
Now you can read Cody the Sloth if you're so excited.
Okay, Cody the Sloth says, would it not be weird if we did not have contractions?
Oh, I don't not think that. I don't believe that. I don't not agree with them.
Yeah. That's just double negatives you're using.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
I went into the argument room.
Dagobert of Tacoma.
Dagobert.
Or maybe Dagobert, if we're going.
Is that a takeoff on Dogbert?
I don't know what it is.
Well, Dogbert's from Dilbert.
So it's a takeoff of a takeoff, is what you're saying?
I think it might be.
Is Dogbert Dilbert's dog?
Yeah, I think it is, but he's crazy now, so I don't even want to look to see what he's doing.
Well, Dagobert says, who's sorry now?
See? Yeah. See? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. See?
Andy says, my wife wants to give CBD to my emotional stress ball of a dog, Teddy. She thinks he'll relax and enjoy the mellow. I'm worried it'll affect his podcast performance. Any advice?
I've been hearing mixed stuff. Like, well, you know how there's these clickbait things online?
Yeah.
And like a clickbait will think like, Tommy Chong says CBD's nonsense. So I wanted to know, I know that's off the topic, but.
And you clicked it.
No, I didn't. I was smart enough not to click it, but I did buy into the, is that an argument? Because I don't buy just CBD.
Yeah.
Unless there's I have to have THC in it.
All right.
What's your take?
I'm not a big CBD guy, but I think it has. I mean, I think it has some mellowing effects.
Okay.
I've given it to I think both our dogs at various times, and it has a negligible effect one way or the other. No, certainly no negative effect, but no real perceivable mellowing either, I would say. And
there's all a bunch of others. I mean, I know there's CBG and there's a bunch of stuff that they use for sleep.
There's CBGBs. There's a whole.
This ain't no mud club.
CB radio.
Greg Kelly says, I was spending the Thought Spiral hiatus in the North Woods, and you know who I'd run into at the bar? James Mason. He wore a fishing hat, so I started calling him Henry Blake. It's cool. James got vaxxed too, and we were outside. Because I'm glad he said that. I was concerned about that. What was the name of the bar again, James, where you were at with? Do you remember this?
I believe it was called Kelly's Folly. Just outside of Grand Marais.
I love that people are delighted. You have brought joy to so many people who don't know James Mason, weren't familiar.
Why, that's a delightful thing of you to say, my friend.
Yeah. Yes. And
if anything, I wanted to make money and have sex, but I also wanted to bring joy to people.
Oh, well, you're such a charming man. I would allow you to have sex with me because you sound so enthusiastic.
Let me check my already passed the bucket list for that. Nope, not there. Don't see it.
Well, you don't have to be rude, James Mason, if that's your real name.
Well, back to the netherworld.
It's a good closer. Halpin, this is a new person then asking.
Nope.
Wrong one?
No, you just don't listen, is my point. Halpin Fraser's a semi-regular.
Oh, I think everything's different now that I can see them.
I know.
Hi, Josh and Andy. Happy you are back. Any spirals or thoughts on Ernie Kovacs? Not Sandy Kovacs, Andy. I will admit to you right now that I know very little about him, and I can't even have an opinion. That's how little I know about him. You've been to the Museum of Radio and TV, so I know you've watched more.
Sure. I used to spend summers there as a kid. No, I didn't.
You got me going with that.
Yeah, that's why I had to nip it in the bud. I'm a big Ernie Kovacs fan, sort of. Not so much of the actual product, but in that he was like actually trying to say what's good about this new medium. What can we make that is specific to this medium? When other people weren't as much, it's like other people were basically just doing vaudeville on television,
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of respect for just the experimentation and the comedy, but I think the comedy legacy is almost secondary to the legacy to the art of television, if you will.
Right. Well, I think that's all well said, and he's a guy I hope to be more familiar with.
Well, there's a lot to see out there.
Like, I'm not going to see Fibber McGee and Molly. That's a joke, I will say.
Yeah.
Annotated MST says, just for fun, let's pretend it turns out that when we die, we all get our own planet. That's what I'm hoping. Anything's possible. What would Andy do with his? Build the universe's biggest nightclub as an example? You mean there used to be a comic who was Planet Charlie. So you're saying, what will happen and his act was like this. On Planet Charlie, the bars never close. That kind of thing.
Yeah. So on Planet Andy.
On Planet Andy, you could always get pastrami and type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is on the... Josh, I just have to stop the questions for 1 second and just cut back to me 7 months ago. What gummies should I buy, everybody? What sweets should I buy? I was buying sweets till about 4 months ago, as if there was no effect, as if there was, I know you've told me this. But what was going on? Why didn't anyone tell me that it could come back to bite me in the hoo-hoo?
I have type 2 diabetes. I have it.
Oh, yeah.
He's got it.
I think I gave up when me calling you a fucking sugar monkey didn't have any effect.
Oh, yeah. When I was getting into, I love these, they weren't Starbursts.
The high chews.
The high chews. Oh, it's sad. It's like watching a person with the worst way of killing them, the most boring way of killing themselves. Not like an alcoholic. You don't go out in a blaze.
All right.
I just hope it's not too late.
It's not too late.
No. I've lost 5 pounds.
Yeah.
From the walking.
Yeah. And not the medicine that says you might lose weight with this?
What's that?
And not the diabetes medicine that says you might lose weight with this?
No. I don't think I lose weight with the metformin. I mean, I think you can, but it wasn't like the stuff I used to shoot in my tummy.
Heroin, that's called.
Oh, wow. Is that what that was? They tell me it was okay juice. Dr. Feelgood misled me again. Hey guys, when the time comes, this is from Dan Marsh, what song do you want to hear in your deathbed? And what song do you want played at your memorial? Hope this question isn't awkward. We all know Live for the Moment Kindler doesn't like to talk about death. Don't I like to talk about death?
I think that was irony he was going with.
That's irony.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I got some kind of notice.
You can tell by the Live for the Moment Kindler. But then again, we were just talking about Mr. Candy.
Let me see. I think I'd like to open with the Talking Heads. It's just a parking lot. Now it's a bush movie. Welcome everybody to the Andy Kindler funeral. Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da.
This was a piece of dirt. Now it's all filled up with Andy.
You got it. All right, everybody. Well, stop laughing. Can we stop laughing so we can get the memorial started? He's gone. And that's all I got.
There was an empty box. Now it's all filled up with Jews.
Jew got it.
Name can't be blank. Oh, I should answer too. I don't have a death song or a funeral song that comes to mind. I always find that funeral moment of here's their favorite song is an uncomfortable moment at a funeral. Especially if the song is like, longer. But it's like, it's one notch less awkward than a moment of silence.
Except in The Big Chill. That was a good song that they played.
What was it?
You Can't Always Get What You Want was his song, I guess, that he had requested. I don't really know because I think they changed the plot of that movie and the whole thing. Not a plot, but it was originally
the book.
No. Originally, the dead guy was in the movie.
Yes, and it was Kevin Costner.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm sorry. That was the worst wow I could have done.
That was kind of a weird wow.
Major wow factor.
Name can't be blank says I started the podcast from beginning and I'm only at test show 72. So you may have already talked about this, but are you guys fans of Kids in the Hall or any of the comedians from it, like Dave Foley? If you don't answer this, I will crush your head.
I know. I mean, I thought we talked about how much we love him.
He'll get there. He's only on test show 72. He'll find out about the whole Dave Foley debacle, as I
call it. That's right. You have a treat ahead for you.
Yeah.
As we screw up our only opportunity.
Thanks for weeing that, by the way. I appreciate it.
I was going along with the bit.
No, I appreciate it. I do.
You fucked it up. No, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Yeah. Well,
I don't even see that question there. I have Seth Dick as the next one. This is crazy. Do you have Seth Dick?
I do.
All right. Why don't you, Seth Dick the third, he says, watching 10 and Bo Derek is barely in it. Good point. It's a slapstick heartbreak kid, but mostly a Dudley Moore vehicle with the painfully slow 70s comedy pace. I enjoyed that movie. I don't know. And I also enjoyed the other one more.
Which one?
Between the Moon and New York City.
Arthur?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also enjoyed 10, but I don't know if I would enjoy it now.
I don't think it would. It's not, it's kind of like Blake Edwards' midlife crisis.
Yeah. It's got a different, but some of it's his, I guess I don't
It's
remember.
okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Arthur is a great movie, I think.
Arthur holds up very well. It's just packed with jokes.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah. Andy, this is from Tweet Bahara. Tweet. Twiddly. Is this our Tweet Bahara song? Twiddly diddly dee, twiddly diddly dee. He comes with the Bahara all night long. He's rocking and a bopping with the Bahara song. All the little ladies on Daywood Street, they love to go tweet. He's rocking Robin. Tweet Bahara, dropper. He's such a horror. He's Tweet Bahara. He's Tweet Bahara for you. Tweet Bahara says, Andy, it's just not the same at Moon Tower without you, buddy.
What a fucking basket case you would be if you went.
Oh, I'd be so scared, right?
Yeah, and rightfully so. I'm going to go to a crowd in Texas right now.
Yes, and I want to thank everybody there for being nice about me not going.
How could they possibly fill a void at a comedy festival?
Didn't you tell me Tuesday's the day with the thing with the sounds and the goddamn gardening?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening. Maybe it's just in my head now.
I'm not getting leaf blowers from you right now.
Oh. Then that means you're just about due for I have a dead body in the back of the truck. Oh, they think I'm the ice cream guy, but I'm a serial killer. I am the ice cream guy, but also I've killed some children. Body in the trunk, body in the trunk, body in the trunk, body in the trunk. Do you smell something funny from the back of my van? Have a popsicle.
Mike Parrish says, last weekend I drove almost 3 hours with my girlfriend to attend a pie social in the smallest town I've ever been to, Rainsford, Montana. My favorite was the pear pie. What is the most small town activity you have ever attended? Wow. Probably a comedy show in which I was one of the acts in Flandreau, South Dakota.
Is that true?
Yes.
What's the name of the town?
Flandreau.
Flandrew?
Dreau.
Oh, so it's a little bit Cajun.
It's a little French, yeah.
Again, I does recall like my entire.
And my second answer would be me in a comedy show in Mobridge, South Dakota.
Yeah, I think of all the stand-up as being small town activities.
Yeah.
I've been to that Harmony, up in like near is it near Big Sur? Maybe it's a town of like 4 people.
Yeah. And I alienated the entire place.
I've been to a couple of ghost towns. And when I say ghost towns, I mean that club in Burbank on a Thursday.
Any place with Kindler on the marquee.
More like Marcont. That's what all the comedy is now today. More like Markidokant.
It is. I'm sick of it.
Sick of it.
Hack. So hack.
Hack. Sue Veet says, when is the last time you spoke to someone, non-family member, under 30, in a social situation?
Well, let's take 2 years right off the top for social situations.
True. That's true. That's a good point. How old is Alex?
He's forever 21.
I'm not going to say I have a lot of friends in their 20s.
Yeah.
It would be weird if I did.
Yeah, it would be a little weird. I don't know, but it's not like me talking to a Sasquatch.
You think you could navigate it?
I could, yes.
Yeah, but it is true. Well, my fam. No, we're not talking about my fan base. Maybe because my fan base is very, very diverse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Read the next question. I can't do it.
Okay. Richard Cole says, I hope I didn't miss the deadline. Do you believe in miracles?
Is that a Jefferson Starship song?
It's that or an Al Michaels quote.
That's right. Do you believe in miracles?
I don't believe in miracles in the sense of God going, I'm going to toss that kid a bone.
Right.
But I do believe that miraculous things happen. Unexplainably good things happen occasionally.
That is such a cool thing, the way you said it. That's one of the reasons why I love Josh Elvis Weinstein.
Oh.
He is not a person who is contracting. He's a person who is expanding. And even when you don't agree, it's not you don't shut the door. And I love it.
Well, glad I could fit you.
Chaotic Neutral says, Josh, please expound. Wait, I missed one, right?
Well, there's
Carlos
saying, Andy, please expound.
Oh, okay. Andy, please expound. Carlos says, Andy, please expound upon your experience with Chris Jericho and the fraudulent world of pro wrestling. I think you would be a great heel manager. I loved the show, your role, and performance. Well, thank you, Carlos. I love doing it, and I also just love being an agent. And I actually wish I knew. I am watching this Dark Side of the Ring. So, I mean, I find the world interesting, but I really don't know much about it.
Yeah,
you know,
the
people.
That series of sports docs on Netflix, Untold, I think it's called.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I've watched like 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 5 of them maybe over the last couple of months. The only one I didn't watch was Caitlyn Jenner because I know enough of that story.
Right.
But good docs, actually. if you care.
Oh, okay. I think I have seen that
if you like
series.
sports docs, they've all been solid. There was a
Cool.
good one about Marty Fish, the tennis player.
Yes, I want to watch that because I knew that story when it came out,
Yeah,
and I had no idea Roddick was involved in that.
Yeah, highly involved.
Yeah, because I remember maybe talking to you about that.
There's a good one about a mafia-owned hockey team. There's a good one, so pretty good.
Oh, that just gives me something.
Pretty good one about Malice at the Palace, the Pacers and Pistons brawl.
I'm afraid to watch that because that was so crazy.
Yeah, but it's not bloody or gory in any way.
Right. I remember arguing with my father about that. He was saying, "I can't believe these players."
He said Schwarzes, didn't he?
No, he did not. But he said, "I can't believe these players." Terrible. I can't believe these players were, punching. And it's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but when you throw water in their face, what do you want to have happen? I don't know.
Yeah,
argument.
I think you'd enjoy the doc then.
Oh, cool. Okay. Because it probably deals with how it was culturally looked at.
Well, it was mostly. I mean, it's mostly from the players' perspective. So they'll
great.
back you up.
I would like to see that, and I will. I have a subscription.
Chaotic Neutral says, Josh, please expound upon your experience with Tom Bergeron and the fraudulent world of America's Funniest Home Videos. I think you would have been a great host. In all seriousness, how is it still on the air in the age of YouTube? Is it just that cheap to make? Well, I had very little experience with Tom Bergeron because by that time I had set up this deal for myself where I could just make jokes from home. And part of my explicit deal was I don't have to go to the tapings, which would be where Tom Bergeron would be.
That's so great.
Yeah, it made me a little lazy and I'm pleased with myself for a while, but it was a good deal. And so I wrote a lot. I wrote all those shows. In fact, I wrote a lot of those shows because I wrote a first draft of each show basically and sent it in. And they kept a lot of it. But I don't know how. I mean, I think it stays on. Yes, it is. It's a cheap show to make for sure. It's also sticky. If you're flipping by and see a video or two, you tend to stay. And it's also, it fits in. It's basically curated internet.
Yeah.
So it's certainly, part of it is its hour on Sunday. It's like couldn't be more family friendly, So
what could end it now?
Or it might. Well, I think it could end it. It's like at this point, it's like it's staying or going would be equally surprising.
Yes.
But the thing is, being against 60 Minutes has always been a death slot and still is on network TV.
That makes sense.
So it's a cheap sacrificial lamb against that, and it's a counter programming certainly.
Man, you've taught me more about what's happening on Sundays than I ever knew. But that's because you don't even expect networks to have shows anymore on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but 30-year shows are a special anomaly.
Yes.
Our friend Josh Mankiewicz is on one of the other ones.
Yes. Which I love that. I don't know if I've mentioned. I love that Dateline. Secrets Uncovered? Yes. This one? Yes. Dateline, the thing you thought you had seen, but now I'm in. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo.
Oh, I thought there was going to be a second verse to bring us
yo, 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 yo. Yeah, 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 yo.
Yamamoto.
Ding. Now that Perush is a married man, Yoshi Yamamoto, why did I make it a racist thing?
Yeah,
that was terrible. A chicken make bad house pots. I'm sorry, Yoshi. Someone is going to shut us down, I think. Now that Perush is a married man, how likely is it he could only sneak in listening to the show at work or the bathroom? Oh, my God. Is that the way married life is?
Well, it is when you've got two Jews bellowing in the background.
I wonder if his curating he's had to cut back on that.
I would hope so. I mean, the nice thing about it is that he has other things to fill his life.
Right. That's true. He's like the guy who, when we first started the podcast, we said, will Perush ever get married? Or will he always be listening to... And then look, who would have thought?
And then we wrote that spec script where he's all that Perush version where
yes.
He takes off his glasses and he's super hot.
I see that. All I know is that I just want him to be happy, and I think he is very happy.
I hope so. I have honestly no indication one way or the other whether he's happy.
Why am I saying these things? He could be.
But I see him checking in with us less as a good sign, not a bad one for him.
Yes. I want people to be dependent on the show emotionally, but if they're not, it's okay. I mean, I know we have rabid fans. And when I say rabid, I mean a couple of our fans got rabies.
And finally tonight, Joel from the untagged bin says, my dad came through with several bagels from the weekend. They weren't from the usual place, and we can taste the difference. Is this a thing, or is this all in my head, like the voices? Love you guys. Of course it's a thing.
Of course.
Of course it's a thing. It's not.
Wait, he's just discovering that bagels are different tasting?
Yes. Oh, Joel. Come on.
Where's he? Does that mean he's from the Midwest or something?
I don't know. Let's take a look where he's from. If it says Bedford, I don't know. That could be New England. I don't know.
Yeah. Because, wow.
Yeah.
We got to send him a special gift or something.
The bagels of the East.
Bagels are not interchangeable.
They're not.
If you learn nothing else.
They're not. You have your Montreal bagels, very sweet, with a big hole.
Which was also my nickname in the book. Good. Don't forget to buy Chunks. You heard about...
yeah.
I whistled.
That was good.
Chunks.
Yeah, you should buy Chunks. If you haven't bought Chunks, go buy Chunks. It's just as irrelevant today as it was the day it came out.
It's timed. It's not timed. It's timeless.
Uh-huh. Or buy Michael DeBar. Who do you want me to be now on DVD and Blu-ray?
Yeah, that would be good. This has been so pleasant today that I can't even do a hang-up bit. You know what I mean? It feels like saying, and thank you, Josh.
And thank you, Andy. This has been a great show. And goodbye, everyone. And we'll see you next week. I'm giving you a chance here. Now, now it's just
wait
an
a second.
ending. Now it's just
Hold on.
Now it's just an ending. No, you're too slow. Forget it.
Ha 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 ha. Bing bang.